Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor, and with me is my buddy Seamus Pouts.
What's up?
Not much. This is something that, about a year ago we did the first episode of Power Rangers, the original show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Right.
And that was just kind of something that we did for fun because the movie Power Rangers was coming out,
Right.
and so I wanted to have like a fun little commentary on the old show.
Right.
And that's actually been one of our more viewed episodes on the channel. I think we're up to like 295 views right now.
That's awesome.
On YouTube, and of course this is before I haven't uploaded this to iTunes yet. Hopefully one day I will. So if you're listening to this on iTunes, this is why it's a little super old. But but no, it's as we're recording this, it is November 19th, 2017. And this is something that I've wanted us to do for a while again, but it's just difficult with schedules getting together and watching this stuff. But and of course, I would have to make a whole new podcast to do every episode of this show because that would take too long, and that would be an ordeal. And there is actually a great podcast called Ranger Danger that does something similar to this. They do all episodes of Power Rangers.
Okay.
They're based out of Australia. I would suggest to go listen to them. But so they do some good stuff. But this was something that I've wanted to do with you again for a while. And
the last one we did was actually really fun.
It was fun, and that was just the pilot episode. I figure we're gonna stick with the first season.
Okay.
And we'll probably eventually do the Green Ranger stuff.
I'm actually really looking forward
the original
to that one,
5-part series where he debuted, because that was one of the more interesting stories in that show. But yeah, so this one was like one of the early episodes. This is episode 6. The title of it is called Food Fight.
Food Fight. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
This was actually the first episode of the show that I remember seeing as a little kid.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So right. I first heard, like, when I was 9 years old, I heard what Power Rangers was because there was a toy commercial that I saw. I was like, oh wow, teenagers, with superpowers fighting aliens. That sounds cool. And then someone told me, like, no, it's not just a toy line, it's a show. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, so I got to check this out. So it was on Fox Kids, and this was the first episode that I remember seeing.
Right.
And it wasn't the first episode of the show. Obviously, it was six episodes in, but let's see. The original air date was September 4th, 1993.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I was not very old then.
No, I mean, yeah. No, like I said, I know I've got a few years on you. So yeah. I was 9 years old at the time. Still kind of right in that sweet spot for their demographic, I think. I was probably even on the older side of what their demographic was, looking back on it. But
true.
It was what it was. So this is going to be the episode Food Fight. We're going to sit here, take some notes, and watch it. And then once we're done, we're going to come back and break it down.
All right.
Critically. So this is going to be fun. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, and we're back.
Wow.
So that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely very interesting. Oh man. Yeah. I was very impressed with the monster in that one.
I'm sure you were. Sure you were. So yeah, the show opens, of course, at the youth center, the gym and juice bar, which all is constantly having events there and functions, and apparently it's a cultural food fast.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be a fundraiser for playground equipment,
for whatever reason, for the school or whatever.
But it's like they're a high school, so it's like they're raising it for like a kid's playground. They didn't specify whether it was like for an elementary school or just for a park.
Like, is this principal like the principal of both the high school and the elementary and some elementary school or something?
I mean, maybe just like generally for the school district.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
like
not sure of the logistics of the Power Rangers episode.
Again, I hope they explain to like the people paying money at this food festival, like what this good cause is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like. I mean, I'm starting to have questions about this fundraiser.
Yeah,
like, I don't know where this money's going towards.
I'm questioning the legitimacy of this fundraiser for sure. I'm not really sure exactly. That principle.
Right off the bat, I have questions. We're not even a minute into this thing.
We haven't even gotten to like any monsters or anything.
Oh no!
Like that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, let's. So like we open with this shot, and there's like it's supposed to be a cultural food fest. So the idea is they have all this food from like. But, like, they have, like, one or two tables. Like, one is, like, sort of like a general, like, Pan-Asian thing where they just have, like, stir-fried rice.
Right. Like, well, yeah, they have this Pan-Asian thing. Obviously, the Yellow Ranger is the one, like, is the girl.
Oh, yeah, obviously Trini is right on top of it.
So, yeah, of course, that's going to be a thing.
Of course, they got to put her on that table. You ever think she's like, really, guys? You're going to put... Oh, fine.
But they have her in charge of like the pseudo Asian food and everything.
Sort of like the general Asian stuff, which which by the way, they're all using like tinfoil trays, so it's like, did they make this at home? Are they buying this wholesale from who's catering this thing?
Yeah, that's another logistical issue that
you don't know. And so they have like another. I forget which table like Zach was doing. He was off on another one, but like I guess they had the desserts.
And then they had the typical American hamburgers.
Yeah, Jason and Kim were doing like the hamburgers and hot dogs. He had like
Jason was all like
he had like the Uncle Sam like gimmick with his hat. Kim was looking super cute with the
all American like
pigtails, like Daisy Duke action. It was she was looking good. As always.
Yep.
Zach was over like I guess they had like some different vegetable stuff, different.
They had like the spicy foods.
Yeah, the spicy foods.
And I think they had an Italian one at some point that I don't know if anybody was
probably. I mean, they first we first see like Ernie coming into the thing. With flanked by these like two hula girls. Like I don't know what their purpose was. They were supposed to like add like. Again,
just these random like extras that they just threw in. Like, hey, you want to be on the Power Ranger set today? Sure, just here's
these two like bikini girls in the hula thing that they probably found at like the Hooters somewhere down the street.
True.
Probably like Ernie visits strip club after hours for all we know. Like we don't know what he does in his personal life.
This guy is
So he's got these two hula girls with them. I guess they're performing throughout the day. They're at a
high school event too.
Yeah, that's super
odd.
Weird.
That's very odd.
Again, we don't even know if the school is putting this on or if this just like we don't know who's organizing this
community
thing.
service. It was very vague.
Yeah, I mean, because like they always have these like fundraiser stuff that they're doing. Different good deeds that these kids are doing.
Right.
Yeah,
these kids are very active in their community besides just being Power Rangers, which they're good examples, I suppose.
Like, how do they juggle it all? Really, with schoolwork and extracurricular activities and working at this gym.
Yeah, I imagine they probably also they probably also have like sports and stuff they do. They all look like they all look like they.
Well, like Jason teaches karate. We established that in the first episode.
That's crazy. So he teaches karate, and on top of this, they have time to do all these community functions.
Yeah, so like these kids have no time.
Yeah,
like
they're always
constantly busy.
And then when they're not doing normal stuff, they're actually being the Power Rangers.
Yeah, so. and they also fight monsters, which we'll get into later. But
we will.
Also, Ernie comes in with a tray of desserts, of course, with cream pies.
Yeah, with these giant pies, and obviously, if it's a '90s show. If you see a pie,
like what's going to happen.
Exactly, you know exactly.
Like the only time you'll see like pies and like desserts is if you go to like Perkins or like Village Inn or something.
Yeah,
and they'll have that in like the cooler for like desserts. But it's like that isn't like a commonly dessert that isn't a very common dessert.
Exactly.
Like you'll have people like lay out like donuts and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
donuts and cookies
like
and everything like
or something.
That. But you knew as soon as you saw these pies and everything. It was like,
and of course you have Bulk and Skull there now, which begs the question: what are they doing there? Because, like,
How
again...
are they, why are they there? Why aren't
well,
they
like, because I'm thinking this is, like, during the day. It's got to be on, like, a Saturday or Sunday.
Right,
This seems like a weekend thing that they would be having there.
Why would they bother even showing up to something like this?
Again, yeah. Like, they claim to, like, not like these kids at all and not, like, want anything to do with them. But they're always hanging out there.
And like what happens in this episode actually seems like innocent fun compared to other things. Like these have got to be some of the most friendly bullies I've seen on a TV show.
So Bulk and Skull immediately get ideas like, oh, we're gonna mess up their food festival because we're gonna throw pies at people and start a food fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they do.
Okay.
Because the school principal is there, by the way. So
he's there the whole time.
So this makes me think, okay, this has got to be a school.
Yeah,
I guess that kind of answers our question about that. Because the principal, Mr. Kaplan, is there wearing the fakest toupee you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. The most,
Which they go to that gag all the time with him. He's always, that's a recurring thing with him. I don't know if that was a choice on the actor's part, but they just decided to go with it.
Yeah, it was... It's the fact that he took off his toupee. Anyway, but
he's constantly losing that rug. So Bulk immediately sees that and, gets an idea. And I guess Skull goes over to the other side. I don't know why he wouldn't just stick around Bulk and not be in the line of fire.
Right.
But, like, of course, like, Bulk thinks, like, okay, we're gonna throw these at the kids there, and I guess I don't know if they were thinking of that like the other kids there, the Rangers, or just wanted to make a mess in general. But they was like, okay, I think I can hit the principal from here. That's his plan, to hit the principal of the school.
Hit the principal. Why?
Like why?
This plan is not thought through.
No, like
at all.
If you do that, even if you succeed, you're getting in trouble for
exactly. That. If you succeed and, you have all these witnesses, you're in trouble for sure.
And it's not like he's not going to know it's you who did it.
Through simple process of elimination.
Like,
even
it's not...
if he didn't see
it's not like
it.
you're pranking the teacher in secret. So he does that and throws the pie at Mr. Kaplan, but it isn't quite aimed because it kind of, of course, knocks his toupee off, but doesn't hit him. Hits Skull right in the face.
Yep.
And so Skull immediately screams, "Food fight!"
And everyone drops what they're doing.
They lose their shit.
They lose their minds, dude. Why is it? Okay, I just this is kind of
there's no build up on that food fight at all.
Something must have been something must have happened before. They were geared. They were ready. They just dropped what they were doing. They're like, okay, I guess we're doing this now.
Someone yells food fight. You're like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
all right. I guess forget about the playground equipment. Let's throw this food. But yeah,
and it just goes crazy from there. And it was like, there's no build up there. Like there wasn't like a few people got hit, then it just escalated into that. Yep. It just turned into a full on just orgy of food.
Just absolutely
not the fun kind.
No, not at all.
Not that kind. But I mean,
what a waste, man.
So everyone gets messy. Everyone except for the 5 Ranger kids. They never get hit, which
they stay perfectly clean.
Which is fine, because it's like that. That makes sense, because like you don't want them to be embarrassed. They're the heroes of the show. So
you don't want them to have to deal with that.
Yeah, you don't want them to be like humiliated. You want, and that happens more to Bulk and Skull. Of course, they end up smashing each other with the food and everything else. There are these 2 other bullies that are hanging out with them,
like these 2 like scene kids or something like that.
These 2 randos who we never see again. By the way,
okay, yeah,
it's like this girl and this one black dude with dreadlocks. I guess they were just extras, but they were clearly other bullies. They were like part of the Bulk and Skull's crew.
I want to hear their story. I want to see if there's any like fan fiction.
No, we don't know their names. We don't know like. We never see them again.
Oh, that's disappointing, man.
But I mean, it's kind of nice to think like Bulk and Skull do have other kids they hang out with.
That's good. It's good that they have other.
I mean, clearly
friends.
they have their they at least have some kids who they hang out with occasionally, and not just each other. So again, but it's like why would they be hanging out with the other kids who they don't like at the school?
Seriously, they could go I don't know, vandalize something.
They could be doing literally anything else.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they choose to go to this school function. It's just
Yeah, because they have nothing better going on.
I guess looking for the logic in Power Rangers is
I know.
a lost cause. But,
no, absolutely.
It's fun to do every once in a while, for sure.
Absolutely. So they do that.
Uh-huh.
And at one point, now, granted, now the kids, the Rangers, they're trying to stop it because, like, they don't, they obviously worked very hard on this food festival.
Right.
The event's being ruined, so they're trying to get everyone to knock it off. Kim tries to get Skull to stop doing it.
Right.
He attempts to throw something at her. She moves out of the way. He hits Bulk with the food. Classic,
right.
Classic physical comedy. Jason does the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
He grabs like links of sausage.
Yes.
And tries to like intimidate Bulk into not doing it. He starts whipping him around like nunchucks.
Yeah, he had like these sausage nunchucks, and he doesn't like he's not gonna hit him or anything. Apparently, he hypniptizes him.
Yeah, he's just like showing off his chucking skills,
and he's so impressed with it.
And which I guess Bulk is like gets scared of him now and like backs off.
So he Bulk like drops the pie that he was
on his own head,
just
of course,
on his own face and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I mean, but that gag is like right out of like the second Ninja Turtles movie.
Right.
Remember where Michelangelo started whipping around like the pieces of sausage? So that's exactly where they took that from.
Funny.
But it's like not even like big links of sausage. It's like hot dogs.
Yeah, it wasn't like two links. It was just like little mini links of sausage and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess, sure, why not?
So Jason finds that hilarious, but it's just like, dude, was that your plan all along? Like what were you gonna do?
Right.
So and then Zach starts to egg Bulk on even more. He gets like a piece of cloth or something. I don't know if it's like a kit or a jacket or something, and does like. And does like the bullfighter, like Toro, and of course Bulk goes right into it.
Yep.
And dives right on.
Completely destroys this entire section of table.
Which it's like, dude, did Zach not get the moment? We're trying to stop this from happening.
He's just trying to save some of the food.
And meanwhile, he's like encouraging Bulk to like take a face plant into the rest of the. So it's like, Zach, you're not helping.
This helped enough.
You are not helping.
But yeah.
And so the whole thing stops. Once like Mr. Kaplan gets like I guess like hit with a bunch of punch, and he's enough to say that's it, and just the whole thing just stops.
Yeah,
for right there, which was amazing.
I was like, wow. I mean,
like, wow.
Why didn't he do this? He's been here the whole time. Why didn't he do this a little earlier? Like seriously,
yeah, where were you when this started, Mr. Kaplan? Like, come on.
He's like, oh, let the kids have their fun, but then they poured punch on him, and he's like,
okay,
okay, now it has to end.
You've gone too far. Cross the line.
No.
So that stops, and he yells at like Jason and the kids, because he's like the food festival's ruined. You're in charge of cleanup, and they're trying to display like it wasn't us, but he just like blames on who he doesn't care.
He's too frustrated to even care right now.
So. Yeah, so that's like end of that scene. Then we finally cut to Rita and the moon base.
Yeah, that's about as normal as this episode gets, right here.
So that's like this is all like the intro, basically the exposition of everything. So Rita, as she always does, she's watching the kids from her moon base. From her moon base. Yeah. Because like I don't know how often she watches these kids, but like. I feel like she's constantly like watching them and then searching for ideas for like it's like, okay, how can I attack them but based on what they're going through right now, based on the current situation. It always has to be like a thematic dramatic monster. Meanwhile, like this is time she could be spending like creating an army of these things and just plotting whatever her plan is to invade Earth. So I mean, we're assuming that's still her plan at this point. I don't know.
I would hope so.
I don't know whether she wants to just destroy Earth or if she just wants to destroy the Power Rangers. It's very vague what her. And
I'll say that I mean, you could tell like Rita was like sick at the beginning of this episode. You could tell this was kind of an off day for the Rita and her henchmen and everything, just because of
like I guess because based on the Japanese footage, they were just using that for whatever reason. She clearly like had some sort of stomach bug or something. She was like, "Oh, I feel so nauseous. I can't." I guess maybe was it the sight of like Earth food that was making her sick?
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, I guess, and that's what kind of caused her to go, come up with her plan. But yeah, she was just like, she's just like sick or whatever. I thought we were just gonna get like Yeah, I thought she was just gonna like call in sick and everything, and just not like have a monster or something like that. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on because of the whole. It was just so random that she was just like randomly sick or whatever.
Apparently, her sickness did the opposite. It inspired her. It's like, oh well, I better do something.
Yeah, exactly. And then this,
she doesn't let sickness get her down. I'll say that much for her.
Yeah, she comes.
So we had been like this. It's probably like what 5 minutes into the episode.
Yeah,
and
about as much. Yeah.
So you weren't sure that she'd even show up in this one?
No.
Or?
What it was I thought that maybe they were just going to show one scene of Rita just being sick or whatever, and that we weren't going to have a monster. I guess is what my thought was.
Oh, okay.
It's like, and the whole thing was going to deal with this food fight issue and everything.
Right.
I don't know. Again, I haven't seen the show.
Maybe a more character-driven piece.
Yeah,
That's
one
it.
would hope.
That'd be interesting because
Yeah.
like they never do that. Obviously, there's always a monster fight in these things, but like that'd be interesting. Just a day in the life of them
Just
at
the Power Ranger,
their high school.
just in high school and everything.
I feel like there's enough material there where they could have just done that.
I want to know more about that high school. With
Right? There's
Jim
so
and
many
Juice.
questions,
Yeah.
but no, she says it's like okay, all this food, she's sick, so she doesn't want anyone else, to see food.
Okay.
Or to have food, I guess. She's just like over it. So she's like, so she goes to Finster.
Yeah.
She's like, get me a monster that's going to get rid of all this food on Earth. Mm-hmm. She's like, do you have a Pudgy Pig?
Do you have a Pudgy Pig?
Which makes me think, I guess they've had more of them. So this has been like a design they've been sitting on for a while.
It's like, okay, bring out the Pudgy Pig model. I want to use it today.
Yeah, like no, it's like I'm really feeling this food theme. I think we need to go with the pig today. Let's fire that one.
Yeah, and what's his name? Finster is his name or whatever.
Yeah, even Finster is like. Are you sure you want to go with this? Like you feel like I feel like Finster is just at the end of his rope when it comes to like dealing with this. He's like, look, you have me back here making all these monsters. They never work. Yeah, you're always defeated by these freaking teenagers in spandex. Like, why don't you just let me create an army so we can just kill everyone?
Yeah, you could tell he was kind of frustrated a little bit. Just the fact that, then he's, she's like, I want a Pudgy Pig. And he's like, well, I mean, we had one. It's in the dumpster right now.
I feel like he has more logic. He's probably thinking, like, why don't we just kill them in their sleep?
Exactly.
Like, they can't say it on the show, but at this point he's just fed up with it. And then we're only six episodes in.
Right, exactly.
He's been around and he's like, it's like, we're like, what are you doing? Like, we have powers. We could just kill them right now.
What's your end game here?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for him to just go off on her and just be like, this is bullshit. You haven't been making these all these monsters that never do anything.
Yep. And it's just like, yeah.
But then he's like, all right, whatever you say.
And
and so he sends the pig to Earth.
Oh, and this pig. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Pudgy Pig, the design for this
thing. Like, it is the most disturbing thing I have seen in a good while. Like, I'm talking about like horror movies too. Like, this thing, it's got like, it's just a pig head.
Yeah, it's a giant head with like tiny arms and legs.
Right.
A Roman centurion helmet on it for
whatever reason.
Again, we know it's based off the Japanese show.
Right.
I didn't bother looking up the Japanese version of this episode just because that would take too long because it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't at all. But yeah, and then like the mouth is like made of this cloth and it like moves around and you can like see it's super disturbing to see like the mouth moving and stuff and just like and so it immediately comes to Earth and just attacks like this dumpster full of old food, and it just starts eating the food and everything like that. So
the plan for the Pudgy Pig, come down there and eat all the food in the world.
Right.
Solid plan.
Sure.
I'll give it to them.
Actually, yeah, it's very, very like I could see that's very devious. Like
if
really
you're looking to wipe out the human race,
that's an evil way to do it, man.
I mean, the logistics of it are a bit off because you only have the one. Like, really, you think in like 48 hours, and we get to that later. Yeah. Zordon predicts like at one point in 48 hours that this thing's going to devour all the food in the world.
I was like, at the rate he's going, I don't think so.
I mean, granted, he's moving fast.
Oh yeah, he's going through it, but still,
I mean,
48 hours to destroy the world's food supply. I'm
just thinking, like, can you imagine the size of the dumps this thing takes?
Yes,
that alone would be cause for concern. Like
immediately, my mind goes to like Jurassic Park. And
God,
yeah, it just.
I don't even want to think about it. That's disgusting.
And just there's no rhyme or reason to the type of food he's eating. It's just as long as it's edible. So yeah, it's just I'm not gonna get into that, but it's just like, oh yeah, it's just
so
the more you think about it, the worse it gets.
So naturally Zordon catches wind of it and calls the kids on their on their communicators, their wristbands.
Right.
Which by the way, I mean, like, definitely
super cool.
Definitely kind of like definitely an upgrade for like pagers at the time.
They had the cool little ringtone and everything, and I'm sure.
Sure
all the kids wanted their.
This predates the Apple Watch by 20 years.
Very much so. Yeah, it's very much ahead of its time.
Yeah, very much like Dick Tracy, kind of thing. So, so they get wind of that. They go to the command center and they figure out the plan. Pudgy Pig. They're in 2 days. It's going to eat all the food in the world. Seems a little oversimplified, but okay.
All the food in the world. All right.
And while they're there, Alpha. Little Alpha comes out with like the chef's hat, and he has a whole tray of food. He's like, "Hey, I want to help with the festival," which is just freaking adorable.
Oh, Alpha's awesome. I like Alpha.
But at the same time, at no point they're like, "You're a robot. Like, you can't just roll up to the food festival and like start selling stuff. People are going to start asking questions."
Or just like, "Hey, how did this food randomly teleport here?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll just ignore that.
Very sweet of him to kind of want to help with them.
Very good.
That's
good
nice. So they decide to go into action, and they just immediately morph and start fighting the pig, and he pretty much in this first fight,
pig, man,
he pretty much
moves.
Yeah, I mean, he moves quickly, and he pretty much handles them pretty quickly in the fight.
Yeah, he takes them out, and then he one by one eats all of their weapons. Which,
which I mean, I guess they couldn't have planned for that. So that was was pretty crazy. That
try to stab it in the biggest part of it, which is its mouth, and so he eats it. He apparently can eat.
Yeah,
all of the weapons,
all their weapons, which is always weird because they always cut to like a shot of like his tail curling around.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was about.
Which was like really weird. It's like his tail. It's like his ass is shaking. So it's like it's just a weird visual. Like combine that when he's like. Are we just to show him digesting these weapons?
Yeah, it's just like
these swords and knives and lances.
I could have swore I heard a fart sound or something like that.
They might have slipped in a fart sound in there, which is very disturbing. Like I imagine the gas alone must be lethal.
Oh man!
That's gotta be terrible.
What to talk about bad for the ozone layer? Man.
Yeah, I mean just the methane levels alone would be crazy.
It's awful.
So he starts fighting them, and they wind up in some sort of like camera vortex, which part of that was, I think, the Japanese camera trick, but part of that was the American part, because like they needed a way for them to get out of that fight, because clearly they ran out of footage.
Yeah, this pig's power set, again, very unpredictable. Like, just he can randomly teleport them or whatever.
I mean, it looks goofy, but like on paper, it sounds like a solid monster. Like it can eat stuff.
It's really like when you think about what it actually does, like it's like it's a lot like Kirby in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like that's what it reminded me of. The fact that it has this ability to eat this enormous amount of food and not be full and just keep going and keep going. It's actually pretty cool.
I gotta say, I had a different opinion of Pudgy Pig, but now that we like sit here and analyze
now that you think about it,
pretty solid monster. Like as far as like
and the fact that honestly, could you imagine seeing this thing in person? And just like this giant,
it's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, like they have this one scene. I guess we can move forward to like the pig.
Yeah. So the vortex kind of transports them. I guess away.
Yeah.
I guess to the park. They're unmorphed. They're just like what just happened.
There was no.
So meanwhile,
their suits are gone too. Everything's
they're unmorphed and just back. They're out of the fight at this point.
Right.
And so the pig makes its way to the food festival.
Yes, and there's this one scene, and again we talked about this off mic, but like we talked the pig looks so much worse in the American footage.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't know if it was the same costume or if they had like a different one made and shipped from Japan.
Yeah.
But like it just looked clearly like it was worn out in the shipping, and just like the mouth was hanging open the entire time.
It was so terrifying.
It didn't look right. Like,
no, not at all.
It didn't look real at all. I mean, at least say what you will about the Japanese stuff, but they at least made that look a little more convincing.
Yeah, but this one, and then they had this jacked up version of the pig costume full frame right in front of the camera, and I freaked out, man. It was just like, what? What is this thing, man?
So that was running around in the food, like, as if that wasn't messed up enough.
Yeah.
You know, the pig goes in there and eats, you know, just whatever is left.
Yeah, whatever's left of the wreck of the
Which
food
I imagine
festival.
there's not a lot there
No.
to begin with, because, like, so much of it there was a food fight.
Right.
Bulk and Skull are still there. They're naturally, like, at first they're not scared of it, but then they, like, take a look at it, and then they get scared and run away.
I would, too, to be honest.
So that happens, and then I guess it just moves on to the next thing.
Yeah, and then it just moves on, and then the Power Rangers show up.
Yeah, so the Rangers they get back to the food festival because they had heard that's where the pig was. They were going to do something, but it's already left by the time they get there.
Right,
and they notice what's left of the food is gone, except for the radishes and like spicy foods.
Yes, all the spicy food is still there, and so like they had a sign that says hot food and things. So yeah, they immediately noticed that.
Yeah, so they immediately put two and two together and think like, okay, like well, clearly this thing ate everything except that. So maybe
this pig that also ate our swords and our weapons doesn't like spicy
foods is the deal breaker.
Okay, all right.
So
we're on this ride. Let's keep going.
Again, it seems like a pretty significant design flaw. You know, you would think they would have like figured that out.
Yep.
When they were, you know, Rita and Finster, where they're like, we wanted to eat all the food except the spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Leave that alone.
Leave that alone. Nobody likes spicy food, right?
Right. Clearly, I mean, clearly India would be spared.
Yeah.
And a lot of Asian countries would. So
true. All the curry would be okay.
So
all of Louisiana would be fine.
Right. So I mean, so you have a lot of holes in your plan right there.
Not very well thought out,
no.
To be honest.
So, but besides that, relatively solid. So they figure that out. You would have thought Zordon and Alpha would have been able to kind of deduce that with their computers or whatever, but I think the kids kind of beat them to it. So
they kind of took a backseat on this episode too, and like it seemed like Alpha was like a step behind them the whole time.
Yeah, like Zordon and Alpha weren't really much help in this deal. Like,
no, they just kind of.
They just kind of show like, okay, here's where the pig is. Go get him.
All right, go for it.
Good luck.
I guess
which to be fair is half of their purpose anyway, because they gotta like explain what the monster is and figure out.
I guess they figured since because of how silly this pig looks and how small it is, I guess they figured it wasn't that big of a deal.
They're probably like, yeah, you guys got this,
we
right?
don't even have to break out the swords this time. You'll be all right. Yeah.
I mean, we're about 6 episodes deep. You must have like,
You've got some practice.
You guys have a little time under your belt. You've faced worse. You can go get the pig.
Yeah, it's a pig. You're all right.
So they end up so they figure out that plan and they take like some trays of food with them, which I guess somehow that survived like the morphine process. I don't know if that
because like okay, first of all, let's just put this down real quick. Okay, all right, no more.
Like they're like carefully setting it down, which I'm imagining that's what they're doing. We don't actually see that, but
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this can teleport, right? And they go with it. So they corner the pig at this. I guess at the loading dock or whatever.
Yeah, some kind of food warehouse or something like that.
Yeah. So they immediately start like throwing this food at it, do a little bait and switch. Trini puts like a radish in like the middle of like a sub.
Yeah,
like
a big sub sandwich and everything.
Yeah. So they throw that and just kind of throw him off the scent. So they tried, and they have him eat that, and that's all it takes is just the one radish.
Yeah.
Before it starts exploding, mouth flying out, like food flying out of it, their weapons flying out of the mouth, which is at no point are they like, oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, the weapons are perfectly fine, and at no point they're like, maybe we should wash these off before we use these again. But
well, I mean, at that point, they don't care, but it's like they don't even say it's like, oh, that's gross, but we got to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So they do that, and interesting thing about this episode, no Zords in this one.
Yeah.
Rita doesn't try to make the monster giant.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking maybe the monster was gonna go like eat so much food that it like just became so
like
huge.
naturally. Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
that would have been interesting, like the Blob or something like that, where it just becomes so huge.
Interesting. I mean, I guarantee you put more thought into that than the writers did.
It looks like it.
So, So yeah, they don't even have a Zord fight, which I was totally fine with.
I will say, after they get their weapons, the cool thing that happened...
the Power Blaster.
Yeah, the Power Blaster. That's the first time I've seen something like that. Do they use that pretty often, or...
Yeah, they use it. They use it occasionally, especially if they have like ground battles, which
okay.
I'm always more into that. Like like the Zords and everything. For one thing, it seems like a very ineffective way of fighting.
Exactly.
Because it causes so much damage around town. Like, it's like Batman versus Superman times 20 every time.
Exactly. The collateral damage just is so ridiculous.
It's reprehensible. So, I mean, I like them seeing, like, in their suits on the ground fighting.
That is a lot of fun.
Like, that to me, again, this is the first episode I saw as a kid, so that's what drew me into it.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Seeing them, it's like, okay, they're suited up and they're ready to go. That was... it was cool, and like we were saying off mic, like the suits look cool. Like, dude, yeah, it holds up. The design.
I'm very impressed. Like even those episodes, then like the helmets. I was just looking at the Black Ranger, and just the fact that it had like the design,
the mastodon
of the mastodon, like in this helmet. It's like super sleek looking, and it would totally pass today.
It's like, even a little more like distinct than the movie, where it's like. But, I mean, I was okay with that because they all looked like a uniform. Yeah,
it made a little bit more sense for the movie just because they were trying to make it slightly more serious for the most part. But, yeah, I really liked the suits. I really noticed it this time. It was like, oh, yeah, those are so cool. And I could see why, people love the
you were impressed with the Power Blaster where it's like they just combine all their weapons.
Yeah.
And
then it just gives, like, this giant, like, mega blast.
Yeah, which mainly comes out of, like, Zach has the Power Axe. Mm-hmm. And that has like just sort of like a cannon, and I guess I don't know what all the other stuff does when it combines with it, but I guess it just adds more juice to it,
right?
And so they just blast it to death.
Yeah, it completely
and the pig explodes.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a good way. That was a good way to end it and everything. I was just like, I really liked just the no Zord, but the Power Blaster was a good touch. I liked that a lot.
Which is like, I mean, if I were them, I'd be like, dudes, why don't we use this every time?
Exactly.
Seriously, this is
at least as a first shot. Like
seriously, we're messing around trying to like fight it hand to hand. We should just blow it up.
That's what I was saying. Like they wouldn't have needed spicy foods if they just brought this out like within the first 5 minutes.
Right.
Taking care of the pig. Maybe Rita would have gotten inspired to bring a better monster. I don't know.
Just blast it to shit, and that's all you need.
Blast it out of here, man. Got to be more effective that way. I mean, yeah, it's less entertaining, but
yeah. So they foil that evil plan. Naturally, Rita's pissed, and as per usual. Mm-hmm. So they end the episode with them going with the kids going back to the food festival, and I guess they're still in charge of cleanup and.
And a couple seconds late, Alpha made these spicy sandwiches to try to help with the monster and everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he actually had like a bunch of like trays of food at the command center, and they're talking to him. It was like, well, yeah, we saved the day, but like our food festival's still ruined,
right?
And, we're responsible for all this, and we don't know if we raised enough money for this vague, Ponzi scheme charity that we're running here, supposedly
having something to do with playground equipment.
Yeah, which makes me think like something, someone's not telling them.
There's
stuff.
Something suspect.
I don't think they're like keep pocketing this money, but like
something doesn't add up.
Something's not right. But anyways, they're like, well, we don't know if we've met our goal with the fundraiser. Mm-hmm. So Alpha, teleports them a bunch of food, and they're super glad, which is nice and everything. But at this point, like no one's there at the food festival,
everybody's left.
Everyone's gone because the food fight it got ruined. So I don't know if they're having this over a couple of days or what.
Exactly.
But like everyone's gone, so I don't know who's buying that food.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Kaplan, the principal, comes back and says, he's like, look. I know you kids weren't the ones responsible for it, so I'm sorry that you got in trouble. So.
Hey man, that's pretty reasonable of them.
So it was nice. He kind of made good with them. Mm-hmm. He's just like, the good thing is we've raised enough money for the kids' playground.
Right.
Or at least we're almost there. And they're like, hey, well, how about you buy one more thing? And so they sell like a sandwich for like $20.
$20.
Now,
$20.
Again, we touched on this earlier. Like. Half of this stuff looks like it's homemade.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know what the overhead is on all this food, but it's like $20 per sandwich.
$20 for a sandwich.
Even
for in
1993.
Yeah.
think about that. Adjust that for inflation.
Yeah,
that's like $30 or $40 now,
I'd
at least.
still not pay $20 for a sandwich now. Unless it was a really good sandwich.
Look, I know it's a fundraiser.
Yeah, exactly. You overpay and stuff like that.
But I feel like I feel like you're killing. You're kind of killing the market here when overcharging, especially if you're selling it to other high school kids who don't have that kind of money to spend.
They're busy. They're trying to buy their pogs and stuff, right?
Right? They're not going to be like, hey, mom and dad. I mean, unless they have a job or something outside of school. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, mom, dad, we have a fundraiser at school. Can you lend me $20 for a sandwich?
A sandwich.
Are you that better be the best sandwich you've had all year.
You better change your life with that sandwich. Seriously.
You better just bite into that instant orgasm.
Just make you jump higher, run faster.
Oh, God.
This is just the best thing ever.
It better be Cheesecake Factory quality, the best thing you've ever had in your life.
Exactly.
So Mr. Kaplan, and even Mr. Kaplan says, $20 for a sandwich?
Yeah.
Come on. But they're like, it's for charity, so, he gives in. He's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And so he just grabs for, I guess he just grabs for whatever piece of food is there. He's not even looking.
He just grabs one of them, yeah.
And as he's about to bite in, they're like, oh, no, wait, mister, that's the super spicy thing. So he bites into it, and of course, he's like, big, exaggerated hot take.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's like, water, I need water. They hand him a pitcher of water. He dumps it, on his head. The tube flies off. Again.
Toupee's gone. Completely gone.
The rug is gone. Mm-hmm. And then, so it's a big laugh moment for all the kids, and it's like...
Apparently the sandwich is really good, too, even despite being spicy.
Right, he says, it's a little spicy, but not bad. So they all have a big laugh after that. End credits. End of episode.
Freeze frame and track.
So there you go. That's the episode.
I could definitely see, if this is the first episode you ever saw, I could definitely see why you got into it, man. Because this is some quality entertainment for a kid, man.
It was. I mean, the food fight stuff, I never really thought that was funny or whatever. Mm-mm. It's just, I guess, what sold me is that the fact that these are kids and everything. Okay, that's great. But once I saw, they're superheroes too. Mm-hmm. That's pretty rad.
Yeah,
so that got me interested and got me hooked on the other episodes as a kid. So that was that. So
that was Food Fight, man.
That was Food Fight.
That was cool. I enjoyed it. I really did.
I can tell.
Obviously, you can overthink it and whatever, but for what it is, it's like I said with episode 1. For what it is, it's great. I could definitely see why it was super successful, man.
It was. And it's so ridiculous to watch it with adult eyes.
With just thinking of the logistics behind the food fight and things. It's just from an adult perspective, it's a whole different way of enjoying it.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And that's what. And again, this is one of those episodes where it's sort of like one of the definitive episodes of that first season of the show.
And they call back to it a lot from what you said.
There was a future, and I think in the second season when they got some more powerful monsters. Even Zach was like, "Oh, something tells me we're not in for Pudgy Pig anymore." As if they realized, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
this
whole thing is
knew
just
that
insane. This was just kind of a filler thing, but it was still good at the same point. At the same same aspect too. But yeah, definitely a good time. It's a good time.
Was. Mm-hmm. It was. So anyways, that's it for this episode. We might do some more if you guys request it. If you have any special particular episodes that you want us to do, we'd love to do that. Any other shows or movies you'd like us to break down like this, we're game for just about anything.
For real, man.
Seamus, you're you've got Seamus has his own podcast with his brother called the Silmaridiots.
Yep. Yeah, Silmaridiots. It's a blue collar take on Tolkien, where we break down we kind of start out talking about Tolkien, then we kind of talk about whatever me or Caleb decides to talk about that week. But yeah, if you like podcasts about Tolkien or podcasts about rambling things.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and check us out there. You can find us, just type in Silmaridiots, and you should be able to find us pretty
you guys
easily.
are on SoundCloud, iTunes, everywhere.
Yep.
So check them out. You're on Twitter at CelticKraut75.
At CelticKraut75. I don't post a lot, but if you want to hit me up and everything like that, I'd be happy to talk with you about Power Rangers or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and you guys know Seamus is one of my regulars. He's on a lot of the movie review episodes. He was on that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, talking about music and, like I said, we mainly deal with music on this podcast, but occasionally we'll deal with movie reviews, pro wrestling, and occasionally random episodes of Power Rangers.
I love it, man.
So this might be a thing that we do because that first thing was such a hit that maybe we'll do more of these, and definitely send us some requests. We do want to get to the Green Ranger miniseries in this first episode because he's such a monumental character in this show's history. So it's like, we definitely want to do that, and we don't want to just like jump into a random Tommy episode.
Right, exactly. We want to actually deal with those. Yeah, for sure.
So, but I mean, especially the first season is definitely my favorite to review. But this show's been around for a long time, so there's a lot to work with there.
For sure.
So, as always, follow me on Twitter at JackXConnor. Like me on Facebook, facebook.com/JackConnorMusic. You can always email me at jackconnorpodcast@gmail.com. You can always tweet us with the hashtag Phoenix Report. Again, at JackXConnor. I'm in a band. Check us out, Vertebreaker. Facebook.com/VertebreakerBand. If you like hard rock music, check us out. And that'll be it. So, keep subscribing, leave a comment, go back and listen to the other episodes. If this is your first like Power Ranger episode of ours we did the pilot, and we also did a review for the movie that came out this year. So if you're a Ranger fan and just discovering our show, you might want to go check that stuff out before you listen to the other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely check out our kind of reviews of the other stuff for sure.
So, and just let us know what else you want us to do. I would recommend, if you like this kind of podcast, go listen to Ranger Danger. Matt and Michael from Australia. Maybe I'll try and like contact those guys and get them on our show and let them know what we're doing. But I mean, maybe they would do it. I don't know.
We'll see, man.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just contact those guys. So, anyways, that's been it for the Phoenix Report. He's Seamus Pouts. I'm Jack Connor. We'll see you later, and may the power protect you.